everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Wet n Wild the 40 palette. If you do want to see a review and a demo, please keep watching. This palette retails for $19.99 on Wet n Wild's website. That's where I purchased mine from. I do want to read a little bit about this palette. It does say, in celebration of our 40th anniversary, introducing our most talked about palette ever. This buzzed about palette includes the most loved and iconic shadows in our vault. This limited edition palette features 40 high performance, super pigmented shadows in matte, pearl, and metallic finishes designed to flatter all skin tones, day or night. These iconic shades are packed with the highest quality ingredients to create buttery soft textures that blend seamlessly for vibrant, long-lasting looks. This palette is gluten-free, fragrance-free, and cruelty-free. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like, and when you turn it over to the back, here is what the back looks like. You have a little picture, you have the ingredients here on the bottom, and you have a little description about the eyeshadow palette. Let's go ahead and open this up. Here's what the actual eyeshadow palette looks like. I'm just going to remove this plastic here on the side. That way you guys can see a closer look of what the shades look like. We have all 40 shades. Let's go ahead and get started with the first shade. So creamy in the pan. Here's what the first shade looks like. Let's blend it out. This palette does not have any shade names, so I'm going to point to the shade and then swatch it. First 4 shades that I did swatch, they are very pigmented. They do blend out nicely. There's no fallout. I might have spoke too soon about this palette not having fallout. We did experience a little bit of fallout with this burnt orange shade. The last shade in the top row blended in with my skin tone. Here's what the first row in the eyeshadow palette looks like. Now we're going to start with the second row in the palette. I do want to build this shade up. Since we are running out of room on the left side of my arm, we're going to swatch on the right side. Moving on to the third row in the palette. I thought that light mustard shade would be a little bit light, but this shade is blending out to almost a white shade. I do want to build up this shade. Looks like a light dandelion shade, but when we swatch it, it doesn't come off as that light dandelion shade. It comes off to an almost white shade. Anyways, let's move on to the next shade. I expected the matte black shade to be a little bit more richer. Moving on to the fourth row in the palette. I do want to build up the yellow shade, taking another little bit. That's a little bit better. I like that the yellow is a little bit toned down, but we can build it out. I love this mossy green shade. Here's what some of the shades look like swatched on the back of my hand. I'm gonna wipe off these swatches, that way we have room to swatch the next couple of shades. I'm kind of disappointed in how these two shades did swatch. I will be building up these shades. That's much better. This metallic shade is so pigmented. Let's blend it out. Wow, what a pretty shade. This lilac shade is gorgeous. Wow, so pretty. I'm gonna swatch the final row in the palette. This shade is very creamy in the pan. Wow, stunning. This is another gorgeous shadow. Ooh, that cobalt blue shade is another gorgeous shadow. This purple is another gorgeous shadow. Here's what the matte purple shadow looks like. Let's also swatch the hot pink shade. And of course, we will blend those shadows. Here's what the last couple of shades look like in the palette. Now we're gonna create a look using this eyeshadow palette. Taking a fluffy brush, we're gonna dip into this yellow dandelion shade. We're gonna be applying that all over the crease. I do wanna play with a little bit more color. Do a lot of purple looks, because that's my favorite color, you guys know that. I'm loving this yellow shade so far. It's subtle. Loving how that yellow shade blended out. I did have to dip back in and add more product, but I do like how buildable the shade is. Taking another clean fluffy brush, we're gonna dip into this burnt orange shade. Placing that shade right below the yellow, blending it out. I'm loving how both of those shades blended very well together. Taking a small flat brush, we're gonna dip into this mauve shade. We're gonna apply that all over the lid. I was expecting more of a pop with this shade. Let's actually apply this shade instead. Again, we're gonna be taking that all over the lid. Trying not to cover up that orange shadow, blending it out just a little bit. Why do I feel like I've created a similar eyeshadow look like this before on my channel? It's turning out really nice. Going back in with that burnt orange shadow, we're gonna add a little bit more of that orange shadow. That way it doesn't disappear. Go back and forth with it and blend it out. Same thing on this side. We're also gonna go back in and build up the yellow shadow. Going back in with that first shade, the yellow shadow. We don't wanna lose that yellow shade. Blending it back and forth and building it out. I do want to add a little bit of purple, so dipping into this lilac shade, we're going to apply that in our inner corner. The inner corner highlight is so pretty, it gives it a different look. For mascara, I'm going to be applying my L'Oreal Unlimited. I'm going to line my lips in the shade Plumberry from Wet n Wild. Actually, I'm going to fill in my entire lips with this shade in Plumberry. I'm super happy with the way that the look did turn out. I love the way the inner corner highlight matches the lips. Final thoughts on the Wet n Wild the 40 palette is that I love this palette. I love each and every shade. Even though some shades did have a little bit of fallout, I did not experience any fallout when applying the shades on my eyelids. I would highly recommend you guys checking this out. It's only $20. If you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.